The Euphorbiaceae family is commonly known as the Spurge family. It is a medium-sized family of around 5,600 species, spread across over 200 genera. Euphorbiaceae, though, is dominated by the genus Euphorbia. Euphorbia is the second largest plant genus in the world, with around 2,000 species. It's found on every continent except Antarctica. Euphorbiaceae is a member of the order Malpighiales. It can be difficult to recognise whether a plant belongs to this order or not without DNA or genetic testing. The similarities between different plants in this family are a little difficult to pinpoint just looking at the plant itself, but at a microscopic level there are similarities. Other families in this order include Violaceae, the violets, and Salicaceae, the willows. Research into the Euphorbiaceae is a commercially important thing, as it includes globally important crop and ornamental plants. Cassava, also known as tapioca, is an important food plant, and that's in this family. The scientific name for cassava or tapioca is Manihot esculenta. Commercial rubber can be extracted from various plants, including some euphorbias, but the most important source is a South American plant in this Euphorbiaceae family called Hevea brasiliensis. There are millions of tons of rubber produced each year and hundreds of millions of tons of cassava. Other crops include oils, both commercial and medicinal, with the most well-known being castor oil, which is made from the seeds of Ricinus communis, the castor oil plant. Other plants in the family may have potential as a source of hydrocarbon fuel. Some Euphorbiaceae plants are able to grow in very hot, dry conditions, which are not suited to growing any other sorts of crops. Always remember though, this is a family that has a lot of plants which are notoriously toxic. So always treat them with respect and care. Euphorbiaceae is diverse, including large trees up to 50 metres tall, through to tiny annuals barely 50 millimetres. There are shrubs, climbers and herbaceous perennials, and surprisingly spiny succulents, often mistaken for cacti. The Euphorbiaceae is one of several families that produce a latex in specialised cells called laticifers. This latex is normally white but can be coloured. When a plant is cut, this thick white latex liquid oozes out of the cut, a telltale way of knowing it's probably Euphorbiaceae. The latex from Hevea brasiliensis is what rubber is made from. The function of the latex in the plants is normally assumed to be a defence against grazing animals and other herbivores. Leaf shapes are mostly simple, but not always. The arrangement of leaves on stems can be alternate, opposite, or whorled. Roots are commonly thick, brittle and fleshy. Because they're brittle, it's important to be careful transplanting seedlings or handling larger plants. Most leaves in Euphorbiaceae have stipules at the base of their leaves. Now these stipules can be a classic type of stipule, but they can also be spines or they may be glands. In spiny species, a leaf will start to form along with the spiny stipule, but the leaves tend to fall off soon after appearing, just leaving the spines. Flowers of most Euphorbiaceae species are not showy. Euphorbia genus flowers are probably the most simple flowers in the plant kingdom. They're generally unisexual. Flowers can occur among larger, colourful, modified leaves though, which we call a false flower or pseudanthium. The actual flowers are tiny. What most people think of as the flower petals are actually modified leaves. Conspicuous sepals and petals are rare in this family. Sometimes, though, the colourful leaves attract pollinators. Some people call these colourful leaves bracts, but they're actually not bracts. They're not flower bracts. What they are true leaves. Pollination of flowers in the Euphorbiaceae is varied and generally unspecialised. For example, some species of Acalipha are pollinated by wind and occasionally insects. The flowers of some species of Dale Campia produce oils which attract bees. Some genera are pollinated by both lizards and insects. Pollination mechanisms vary. There are more Euphorbia species in cultivation from this family than any other genus, but a number of other important genera come from the family as well, including Acalipha, Brainia, Codium, Hevia, Homolanthus, Jatropha, Melotus, Manihot, Pedulanthus, Phyllanthus, Ricinus, and Sapium. Because of the dominance of the genus Euphorbia, it's worth looking at the flowers in detail. Euphorbia flowers have no petals or sepals. Euphorbia female flowers consist of 3 fused carpels, each producing 1 seed. There are 3 styles which each split into 2. The male flowers of Euphorbia consist of just 1 stamen. What you might think of as a single flower is actually a combination of a number of flowers into one head on a Euphorbia. 1 female flower and several to many male flowers are enclosed in a cup of fused bracts or modified leaves called a cyathium. If you find a plant with a cyathium, it's very probably a Euphorbia. The single female and many males in 1 cyathium look superficially like a normal flower, but they are anything but. A cyathium is an inflorescence of several flowers. Around the rim of the cyathium are 1 to several glistening glands that secrete nectar to attract and reward pollinators. Seeds have an external fat body called an oleosome. This attracts ants, which take the seeds, feed on that fat, then bury the seed in a nutrient-rich waste deposit area near their nests. The seed then germinates and has plenty of nutrition to feed on. There are many garden ornamentals in the genus Euphorbia, including the iconic Christmas plant, the poinsettia, Euphorbia pulcherrima. Other ornamental plants in the Euphorbiaceae include crotons, cat's tail or alcalipha, pedalanthus, and the butterfly vine, Dale campia.